When we look at the Bhagavad Geeta, we start with the confusion of Arjuna. Apparently, Arjuna seems overwhelmed by the nature of his opponents. There are so many people in front of him. I think there are around 5 times the number of soldiers or combatants on the opposite side. So it is very common for people to presume that Arjun is scared, that he is afraid of being killed by the opposing party. So it's interesting to understand that Arjuna's confusion arises not from the number, the ferocity, or the skills of his opponents, but Arjuna's state of total panic attack is the result of the philosophy which is known as the law of karma. In chapter 1, text 28, Arjuna says, seeing my friends and relatives before me in such a combative spirit, my limbs are quivering and my mouth is drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. I am unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I foresee only evil, O killer of the Keshi demon. Now the real truth comes out in chapter 1, text 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. See, Arjun is a phenomenal warrior. He is such a phenomenal warrior that no one can really stand in front of him. Probably only Bhishma Dev. And he is so skilled that he can rout the army that is standing in front of him. So he's not scared of the army that's in front of him. He's scared of committing bad karma. And we will see how he is afraid of bad karma from here on. Nacha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajanam have na kankshe vijayam Krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha. I don't see how any good can come of killing my own relatives in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. And thus he goes on to say, why should I wish to kill them even though I might survive? I am not prepared to fight them even in exchange for all the three worlds. Now he comes in chapter 1, text 36 is the crucial verse. Papam eva shred asman hatvaitan atatayinah tasma narah vayam hantum dhartarastran sabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhino shama madhava. This is his real fear. Bad karma will overcome us if we kill such aggressors. It is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Papam eva shredasman. How many sins will I take upon myself? He has been indoctrinated by the law of karma. And having been indoctrinated by the law of karma, not knowing a way out of the law of karma, he is terrified and he is fearing future disasters as a reaction to the bad karma he performs. He says, these men are overcome by greed and they see no fault in killing us. But why should we, who have knowledge of karma, who have knowledge of pap and punya, why should we engage in these sins? And he goes on to give all the reasons why this is a sinful act. Kulashaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharme naste kulam kritsnam adharmo bhibavatya uta. With the destruction of these elders in the dynasty, the family tradition is destroyed and the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligious practice. And so on and so forth. Irreligion is prominent, then the women of the family become corrupt and unwanted progeny develop. When there is unwanted population, a hellish situation is created for both the family and those who destroy the family tradition. There is no offering, no shraddha which is offered to the ancestors. And thus, only sin, only papa is the only thing that comes out of this. And because of the evil deeds of the destroyers of family tradition, community projects, family welfare, everything is destroyed. And then he goes on to give the ultimate clincher. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. And I have heard from notable authorities that those who destroy family traditions always live in hell. So he is afraid of going to hell. So this is the uniqueness of Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam. How strange it is that we are ready to perform greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. Yad rajya sukha lobhena antum swajanam udyataha. It is better. He's not afraid of death. He says it's better for the sons of Dhritarashtra to kill me unarmed and unresisting rather than I should fight with them. So kill me, I don't mind. But I'm afraid of committing sin. I'm afraid of pap. So this is where our hero of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, asks God himself. And hearing this, Krishna gives him a piece of his mind. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Kutastva Kasmalam Idam Vishame Samupastitam Anarya Justam Asvargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna. How have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all fitting for a man who knows the progressive values of life. They do not lead to higher planets, they lead only to infamy. So Arjuna has just given to Krishna his wisdom that he has heard on how we are committing sin. And Krishna looks at him and says, how has these impurities come upon you? Who have you been listening to? What nonsense philosophies have you been listening? I take you now to the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami masuchaha. Abandon all other varieties of religion and surrender unto me, and I will deliver you from all sin, never fear. So very clearly, Krishna is telling Arjuna that forget this nonsense that you have been fed about karma. You have no understanding of what karma is. And you are spewing all kinds of nonsense that has contaminated you, which has despoiled your fine mind. Your intellect has been confused by listening to this rubbish about karma. Now you listen to me. In short, the rest of the Bhagavad Gita is how Krishna teaches you to bust karma. In short, karma is what Arjuna is afraid of. He's not afraid of death. He says, fine, let them kill me if they want. But I will not kill them because I want to avoid bad karma. And Krishna is telling him, stupid idiot, you fool, what have you been listening to? And then he begins the Bhagavad Gita, which is, and I often speak of Bhagavad Gita as such, it is a karma busting book. Bhagavad Gita is teaching you how to bust the law of karma. It is teaching you how to transcend the law of karma. It is teaching you how to transcend all the sinful activities that you have performed in the past. It is teaching you how to get beyond the law of karma. Now, I must tell you a little bit about the word karma. Because karma, as I pointed out earlier, is a Sanskrit word. And these Sanskrit words have a different meaning according to the context in which it is used or in which they are used. For example, karma can mean Vedic ritual, as we saw in the last session that we had on karma mimamsa. So karma can mean Vedic karmas and Vedic duties. They're often clubbed together. So to do your social duties and obligations and to perform your Vedic rituals and rites, these are considered as karma. Karma can also mean work. So we have to understand that karya karma karoti yah. So one should understand that work is also another meaning of the word karma. The third meaning of the word karma is we come to the philosophy of the law of karma. And the philosophy of the law of karma is the law under which Prakriti functions. And how does Prakriti function under the law of karma? You sow the wind and you reap the whirlwind. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Whatever you do will come back to you. So the good that you do will come back to you, the bad that you do will come back to you. So this is the law of karma. And it's a very elaborate law of karma. Part of it you might hear about if you watch my video on the law of karma. I think which is 2 or 3 lectures. So essentially the law of karma means that if you do some actions within the world for yourself, the reactions to those actions will come back and bite you on your ass. And this law of karma is one of the few things that all the religions in India have belief in. Just like reincarnation, just like birth and death and rebirth, just as, shall we say, going to other planetary systems or different planes of experience, like Swarg and Narak. These are all commonly agreed upon by all religions. There are religions that believe in God, believe in reincarnation, believe in karma, believe in Jivan Mukti, and believe in Videha Mukti. That's Hinduism as we have it, Sanatan Dharma. On the other hand, you have other Hindu religions, because Hinduism is not a religion, it is a commonwealth of religions that have taken birth on the soil of this subcontinent. And the other Hindu religions, you have Buddhism that does not believe in God and does not believe in the soul. You have Jainism that does not believe in the soul, does not believe in God, but believes in the soul. But they all believe that there are other planes of existence like Swarg and Narak. They all believe that there is a law of reincarnation. They all believe in the law of karma. They all believe in mukti or moksha. So in the law of karma, people have gone overboard. They have not realized what are the exemptions to the law of karma. They do not realize how to act in the world without incurring karma. And if we learn how we can perform action in the world without performing karma, then we will be spared this foolishness of roaming around the world wearing a mask so that we do not breathe in any insects or we do not breathe in any bacteria. That we should not drink water from a well which has been dug, because in digging the well, so many jantu, so many creatures will have been destroyed. So we only drink from running water, and so on and so forth, and such ridiculous nonsense. And finally go on to the stage where you will perhaps not eat or drink at all and leave your body in that manner. Where does it end? Because every action you do will create some karma in some way. And the answer is Krishna gives the way. And when Krishna gives the way, Krishna gives the perfect way. I will give you the verses and all now. But first, I am going to explain to you the broad macro outline of what Krishna is saying. Karma is a law that acts on Prakriti. You are a composite of Purush and Prakriti. Bhumi apo nalo vayur kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara itya me bhinna prakriti ashtadha. This is of course an example of Vaiseshika philosophy, one of the 6 philosophies of the Vedas. But he points out that these 5 elements, your mind, your intelligence, your ego, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, all of these, he says, they are part of Prakriti. But you are not Prakriti. Krishna declares in the Bhagawad Geeta, Aparyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabhao yayedam daryate jagat. Indeed, Krishna says, you are part of me. You are an infinitesimal portion of me. You are not Prakriti. Indeed, for those who have not realized they are not Prakriti, they are still struggling with Prakriti. Mamaivanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastra indriyani prakritistani karshati. You are but an ansha, mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. You are eternally a part of me, you are eternal and you are a part of me, a fragment of me, an infinitesimal part of me, who is struggling with your prakriti, which includes your mind and your senses. But indeed, Krishna points out, you're struggling with prakriti. This is your fate, is to struggle with prakriti. And because you identify with prakriti, you take on all the problems of prakriti and you then take karma upon yourself. As long as you think in terms of I, me, myself, I am doing, this is what I did, these are the actions I am performing, this is for me, I want to enjoy royal happiness, you're subject to karma. But when you move aside, you turn to God, you remember God and forget this prakriti part of yourself. And you perform your actions in a manner by which you remember God and forget this prakriti self. You become free from karma. Yagnartharth karmano nyatra loko yam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. All actions you perform as a sacrifice for Vishnu, for God. These actions which you perform as a sacrifice for God, these actions are free of karma. All other actions bind you to karma. All actions which you perform as a sacrifice to please God are performed even by great souls, even by yogis. Kayena manasa buddhaya kevalerindriyarapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. The yogis, they also perform work with their bodies, with their minds, with their intelligence. They perform activities in a spirit of sacrifice and devotion to God for the sake of self-purification, for the sake of purification of the idea that they are Prakriti. Prakriti is empowered also by God. And when Prakriti is empowered by God, Krishna is, while Krishna does nothing, he empowers Prakriti to do everything. Mayadhyakshena Prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Very simply, he points out that I am the Adhyaksh, I am the controller of Prakriti. And he says, Devi yasa gunamayi mama maya duratyaya meva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So you, infinitesimal piece of Purush, instead of struggling with your mind and your senses, if you turn to me and you surrender unto me, you will be able to transcend Prakriti. And how do you transcend Prakriti? You allow Prakriti to do its duties. You allow Prakriti to perform the activities it was created for, the purpose of its creation. And let God act through this Prakriti, which is currently your envelope. And by doing so, what happens? You understand you are not the doer. Krishna says, foolish people think they are the doers of action. Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. All actions are performed by Prakriti. But the foolish soul, he imagines he is the doer of those activities. So if you don't do any actions, and all actions are done by Prakriti, why should you incur any karma? It's your Prakriti that incurs the karma. And because you imagine you are the doer, that karma becomes yours and you suffer and enjoy. Karya karanam kartritve hetur prakriti uchyate purusha sukha dukhanam bhoktritva hetur uchyate. All actions are performed by Prakriti. But you, who is the observer, imagines that you are the doer and therefore you enjoy and you suffer. You enjoy good karma and you suffer bad karma. Purusha prakriti stohi bhumte prakriti jan gunan. Karanam guna sangasya sadasad yoni janmasu. And as you continue in this world, moving from one prakriti to another, depending upon the actions that you identify with, you enjoy and you suffer. And if you choose to perform acts which cause suffering, to your own Prakriti and the Prakriti of other people, then what happens? Then you descend down the evolutionary ladder, spiritually evolutionary ladder. Asurim yo nemapanam, mudo janmani janmani. You will enter the wombs of Asuric people, and such fools will be born in descending spirals of devolution. And in the intervals between each birth, you will enjoy and suffer in heaven and hell. But Krishna points out this very important idea that those actions which are performed for the sake of sacrifice as an offering to God, these actions, these people will indeed become free from Prakriti, will become free from the karma that is involved with Prakriti. In chapter 4, verse 14, Krishna says, "There is no work that affects me, neither do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions to work." Krishna does no work. His Prakriti is doing all the work. And Krishna aspires for no fruits of action which the Prakriti performs. If you understand this about Krishna, then you don't also act in that manner. All the liberated souls in ancient times, Krishna says, acted with this understanding and attained liberation. Thus, as the ancients, you should perform your duty in this divine consciousness. Understanding that you are not the doer, that you are not Prakriti, and Prakriti is performing all actions. And Krishna explains, Kim karmet, kim karma, kim akarmeti. Kavayo apya artha mohita. Tatte karma pravakshami yajgnata mokshase ashubhat. Even those who are kavayo, even those who are wise, even those who are considered very intelligent, they are bewildered in knowing what is action, what is karma and what is akarma. Please note that almost all translations in all Bhagavad Geetas are wrong here. Here Krishna is not talking about work and action and inaction. He is talking about incurring karma, which is incurring the responsibilities that result from, or the reactions that result from the actions that are performed. He's talking here about the law of karma. Therefore, he says, even intelligent people can't understand what is akarma and what is karma. And now Krishna says, I shall explain to you what is karma. And knowing this, you will learn how to become free from all karma and all papa and punya. The intricacies of karma are difficult to understand. Therefore, everybody should know what karma is, what good karma is, what bad karma is, and what akarma is. Please note, all the translations in all the Bhagavad Geetas you possess are all incorrect because they have not seen that here the word karma stands for the law of karma, the law that ensures that actions incur reactions, especially if you identify with Prakriti. So Krishna is teaching you how to avoid this. And Krishna says that one who sees how one performs action without incurring karma, and one who does not perform action still can incur karma. This is a difficult verse to translate, and it's a very difficult verse to understand if you are reading the standard Bhagavad Gita. Because here karma mentions both the law of karma and it mentions work. That a man may be working, and because he is working without identifying with Prakriti, he does not incur any karma. On the other hand, a man may not be working, but his mind is working, full of greed and envy and anger and jealousy, and he is incurring karma. So one who understands this, he is situated in a transcendental position, and he is not contaminated by Prakriti. यस्ये सर्वे समारंभ काम संकल्प वर्जितः ज्ञान अग्नि दग्ध कर्माणि तमहु पंडितम बुद्धः. So when every action you perform is not for self. What is self? Self is Prakriti. Ego, aham, mam, mameti. It is Prakriti. Drop it and you will drop all desire. Therefore, when you perform actions without ego and obviously without desire, you will be considered a sage whose karmas are burnt by the fire of perfect knowledge. त्यक्त्वा कर्म फल संगम नित्य तृप्त निराश्रयः कर्मण्य अभिप्रवृत्तो अपि नैव किंचित करोति सः. When you perform actions in the world without any attachment, always satisfied, always independent, you may engage in all kinds of undertakings, but you do not incur this law of karma. I ask those who are studying the Bhagavad Gita to make a note that most of these translations are wrong in most of the books. Nirashiryat chitatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. So man who acts perfectly controlled, without any desire, without any sense of proprietorship, of I, me and mine, he acts only with his physical body. Shariram kevalam karma. It's only his physical body that is working. It's only his prakriti that is working. Such a person is not affected by sinful reaction. Yad richalabh santushto dvandvatito vimatsarah sama siddha va siddha cha kritvapi na nibadyate. He who is satisfied with gain that comes of its own accord, he is free from duality, good and bad, heat and cold, joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor. Who does not envy, who is the same in both success and failure. Such a person is never involved in karma, the law of karma, although performing all actions. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavastita chetasa yagnaya charata karma samagram pravilyate. So man who is without any connection, any attachment to his prakriti, who is fully situated in absorption in God, he merges entirely into transcendence. So such a person, even if he has performed all sinful actions in the past, in 9.30, Krishna points out, such a person, when he engages on this path, api chet sudracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhu evasa mantavya samyak vyavasito hita. Even if he performs all the most abominable actions, if he is considered to be now acting in this spirit, he is considered to be a saint because he is situated in the right position. Shipram bhavati dharmatva shashvat shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktya pranashyati. Very quickly he will become perfect. He will become cleansed by performing action in that spirit, because that action he is performing is yajna. And that yajna will lead to his purification. In fact, Krishna points out that his actions are compared to the karma mimamsa yajna. In chapter 4, text 24, he points out, Brahma arpanam Brahma havir Brahma gnau Brahmana uttam Brahma evatena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. Everything he performs is situated on the spiritual platform. He stands apart from material nature. And whatever actions he is performing are like the offering of havan and samagri in the fire. Nothing is left behind to cause any karmic reaction. And this precedes, he is talking about other forms of yajna in the 4th chapter, which I am trying to explain to you is where Krishna leads from the performance of karma mimamsa yajna, going on to working as a yajna, and he goes on further to describe other forms of yajna, and then comes back to talk about the perfected person who is performing yajna as a sacrifice through his work. So by performing work as a sacrifice, by performing your duty, by performing your swadharma as a sacrifice, being undistracted by the world and engaging in your work in a spirit of sacrifice and devotion, this performance of yajna makes you a dharmatma. What happens? You get exposed to realization of the truth. And what is that realization of the truth? That is explained again in 35, chapter 4, verse 35. Yaj gnatva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshani drakshasi atmanya athomai. When you have learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me, they are in me and they are mine. You come to that Vedantic realization just by performing your work as a sacrifice. And this purifies and destroys all your sins. In chapter 4, verse 36, he says, Api chedasi papebhyo sarvebhyo papakritamah sarvam jnana plavaineva vrijinam santirishyasi. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated on this boat of transcendental knowledge, that everything lies within Krishna, it's in him and is his, you will cross over the ocean of miseries. In fact, he goes on to say that Yatha idhamso samido agnir bhasmasat kurute Arjuna Jnana agni dagda karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. Just like the firewood is converted into ashes by fire, so also this fire of knowledge that all beings lie within Krishna, they're in him and they're his, will result in destruction of all your karmas. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaishami mas. Abandon all varieties of religion and just do what I am telling you. Just surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Karma will not touch you. So this is how Bhagavad Gita teaches you. In fact, he doesn't want you only to do your work as a sacrifice or yajna, though that is the primary means of sacrifice. He's also said, as I told you, for your discretionary time, which you could use, of course, doing 100 other things like watching cricket and cinema and crime and such like things. You can use that time in doing yajna, that discretionary time in doing yajna, which Krishna says is him in the Kali Yuga. Yagna Nam Japo Yagnosmi. I am that sacrifice of the chanting of the holy names. So you chant in the morning, 16 malas, chant in the evening, 16 malas. Consume your discretionary time and keep your mind on God. And otherwise also do everything for God. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yat johosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kauntya tat purusham adarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever charities, whatever austerities you perform, do it for me. Shubha ashubha falairevam moksha se karma bandhane sannyasa yoga says that in this manner you will become free from both good karma and bad karma. And acting in the spirit of detachment, you will finally come back to me. So this is how Krishna teaches you to get over this law of karma. And I am now, we have less time, but I am going to ask if there are any questions. If you have any questions, please speak up. Please enter it in the comments. Yes, are there any comments? Any questions? All right then. Jai Shri Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Om.